A new Wall Street Journal expose sheds light on just how much American influencers are being influenced by foreign actors and foreign governments. Cenk, this piece is incredible and incredibly important. What are your 2 cents?
Yeah, they didn't talk about Israel enough. Instead, they attacked one of their enemies. But anyways, overall, absolutely true and a good piece overall, because you should know who's paying for the videos that you watch. Oftentimes, it is not the creator's taking money from other interests, and that's what's driving it. Super important story about American media. Let's give you the facts.
So I'm gonna start off with the focus on corporate interests here at home, because that's also part of this expose. And they did name names. They gave some specific examples. So these influencers get bigger payouts if they're very close to the Trump administration, because they are likely to have more influence, I guess, over the Trump administration. So those known to have a good relationship with Trump's assistant, Natalie Harp, and other White House officials can command thousands of dollars more per post than others, according to a person familiar with the business. So 23-year-old CJ Pearson apparently is one of the individuals benefiting from this. He's close with Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt. And so he was hired by the Solar Energy Industries Association, which is like the most shocking thing I've ever heard in my life, to basically push back against President Trump's dismantling of renewable energy policies. So in this case, we're talking about a corporate interest that's pushing for something that I'm in favor of, right? I'm in favor of diversifying our energy sources. I wish we focused more on nuclear. I know that gets people upset, but it's the truth. Yes, I want to invest more in solar as well, wind as well. But I'm not in favor of people getting bought like this, okay? So even though I'm in favor of solar energy, I don't think this is right. Nonetheless, the solar campaign didn't change policy, but Pearson has inked so many deals that he launched his own firm to help connect peers with companies seeking influence. Quote, "I've never seen more interest in working with creators than right now," he said. Then you have a 25-year-old by the name of Deborah Lee, who signed contracts with Parler, Kalshi, and the solar industry. In an interview with the Wall Street Journal, she said the most she has made from a single contract was more than $20,000 to represent them during TV hits, but she declined to name the company. Okay, according to insiders, I'm so depressed. According to insiders with knowledge of the industry, these influencers can receive up to tens of thousands of dollars per post, and the special interests are building vast infrastructure to connect with these influencers as well. So, for instance, Brad Parscale, who was Trump's former campaign manager, is now running a firm that essentially connects these influencers with companies that want to pay them for these sponsored posts, right? Now, the real question is, are they disclosing that they're getting paid to promote certain things? From what I've gathered, no, and that's a huge issue here. But sometimes these operations don't even involve money, to which I say, why would you agree to it? So in the piece, the Wall Street Journal explains how Jared Isaacman, who is Elon Musk's pick to lead NASA, wooed Benny Johnson simply with a special tour of his private hangar. He even gave Johnson some rides on his private jets. Earlier this year, Isaacman's nomination to lead NASA was actually pulled. But after Benny Johnson went on this trip and saw that hangar, if you know what I mean, Isaacman was put back into consideration, and eventually he was confirmed back in December. So he will now be the head of NASA. Now we've got the foreign governments involved as well. So I want to just quickly go through that and then get your thoughts, Cenk. So the Journal has revealed just how much money the Israeli government hopes to spend on wooing influencers. So Israel made plans over the past year to spend $900,000 on an influencer campaign with a US audience, according to disclosure documents, as Israel fights negative sentiment on the right, probably because they're slaughtering innocent people, and no one likes that. No one with a soul or a conscience likes that. Nonetheless, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is also speaking directly with right-wing media figures at Blair House, for instance, across the street from the White House in April, where his guests included Spicer, Maha, advocate Jessica Reed Krause, and podcaster Tim Pool, which explains a lot. Netanyahu urged support for US intervention in Iran, which Trump would eventually carry out in June. And at this moment, it appears he's going to potentially carry out again. Now, the government of Qatar, by the way, is also working to gain the favor of conservative influencers. In November, Qatar sponsored trips to Doha for several pro-Trump social media personalities, promising interactions with members of Congress who were also there and celebrities, and VIP Formula One tickets with paddock access that regularly go for more than $10,000 a piece. So those personalities, by the way, include Caitlin Sinclair and Rob Smith. They state the government of Qatar did not directly pay them at any point, but I'm not sure I believe them. Cenk, back to you.
So, look, a lot of my friends are really well educated because I went to some big schools, et cetera. Why do I tell you that? Because I think that they're the most naive people in the country. And why do I say that? Because they listen to establishment media. And establishment media tells you pretty little lies about how, oh, the world is filled with unicorns and rainbows and no government would do anything wrong. That sounds conspiratorial and crazy, right? Now, or corporations, by the way, and buying politicians, oh, don't be ridiculous. You're besmirching those honorable people in Congress. So the reality is, no, it's a logical thing to do. If you're running a giant corporation or a foreign government, you would look to influence the most powerful, richest nation on earth. In fact, you'd be kind of a knucklehead if you didn't try to influence them. Then when you think about, okay, well, how do I influence them? Well, obviously media is a huge part of it. And is that something that's new? No, not at all. So in this case, Wall Street Journal, which by the way, to be fair, is part of the establishment media, et cetera, with a pretty good story. But they make it seem like this is a new phenomenon. No, people have been using mainstream media to influence American policy for the last 50 years, probably forever, but certainly in my lifetime, right? So for example, General Barry McCaffrey used to go on NBC, and I remember this, we covered it during the lead up to the Iraq War, and he would say, oh, we gotta go invade Iraq for sure. And you know what and then Brian Williams or whoever would ask him, okay, what do we need to do that? He said, well, we need the Abrams tank. Well, that's what and what NBC never told you is General McCaffrey worked for the company that produced the Abrams tank. And they were going to make a killing in Iraq. But NBC never told you that. And mainstream media would never tell you any of the folks that come on that have been taking this kind of money for the entire time. So, and then Semaphore is a small little media company you might or might not have heard of. And they're kind of like Axios and Politico, really insider stuff. I got no beef with them. I could like a couple of the guys that work there. But what do? They just got an unbelievably large valuation. They're now worth $330 million, even though their audience is about 50 people, right? Why? Because those 50 people control American government. So they do these live events and they bring senators and staffers, et cetera, and mainstream media, and they funded by defense contractors, pharmaceutical companies, et cetera. And they tell them, oh yeah, you gotta go to war with Iran. Oh, well, will Lockheed Martin make billions of dollars off of it? Will we skew the entire news to make it seem like war is wonderful and attractive because it helps all of our sponsors and donors? Yes. So even though this story is absolutely true, it's only telling you half the story. And the 20,000 and the 90,000, et cetera, even the 900,000 Israel spending on influencers is just, it's tiny. It's nickels and dimes compares to the hundreds of millions and the billions that all of these corporations and foreign governments have spent purchasing our media and our politicians. Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.